Welcome back. So when we're working with databases in a production environment, of course, we don't want the system to automatically delete the database. That would be really bad. But when we are working locally right here in development mode, I would like the system to actually automatically delete the database and recreate it every time where I press run. The reason is if I change the schema in the database, for instance, if I add a new property, a new column inside one of the tables, I would like the system to just destroy the database and then recreate it with the new schema for the database. So I wouldn't have to manually go and do migration with SQL. So what we're going to do this lesson is we're going to set this up so that it can automatically delete and create the database when we are in development mode. Notice it's only in development mode, not production mode. So let's try and do that. Now, the cool thing is, if you guys remember, we made this so that it's actually now dependency injectable. And that actually means that I can dependency inject it into a method as well. So let's try and do that. If I scroll down, I'm going to need it inside the configure method, because here I can decide if I'm in development mode or if I'm in any other mode, right? Production stage, whatever you're using. So I want to be able to talk to the database and explain to the database that it should be automatically in development mode deleted if it already exists, and then be recreated if it doesn't exist. The way I do it is pretty much just by, again, dependency injecting the video application context. So I'll do that right here in the method of configure, and I'll just call it context right here. And now the cool thing is, by doing this, I can now actually access the context and do anything I want with the database before it actually really launches. So in this case, let's say context.thedatabase.go and actually ensure that the database is deleted before we do anything else. So it'll just remove the database if it already exists. And again, it's very important you only do that in development mode. Don't do it in production, or else you might lose all your data in your live environment, and you'll probably get some pretty angry customers. I'll also ask the system to make sure the database is actually created by calling ensure created. So now, every time where I press the run button, it'll actually destroy my SQLite database if it's already there, and then recreate it with the new schema if I added any schema. And later on, we'll talk about how we can then seed the database with some information already when it's actually being created. But let's just try and see. Now we should actually have a running system with a database. Now there's no tables in there, so it's kind of boring, but still let's try and run this and see what actually happens when it runs the ensure deleted, ensure created right here. Hopefully after a bit of time, you'll see this popping up in your actual web API root. You're going to see an application DB, which is actually your new database. Congratulations, you just created a database. Now it might take a bit of time. You might need to kind of open and close this or refresh the project, but if you go and reveal it in the Finder or the Explorer, you'll actually see that this application DB should be here now. The reason it's called application DB is because that's what I named it right here. So if you put in a different name, you'll probably see a different name here as well. We'll open this database later, but for now, just think of it this way. You just created an SQLite database without doing anything except writing a couple of lines of code and just using the NT framework in order for that one to create the database for us. Now we will look at how it actually creates a database for us next lesson, where we'll try and add some logger so we can see what's actually going on behind the scenes with these SQL queries. That's it for this lesson. See you next time. Bye.